It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside for a while and just smile. Just taking some clean, fresh air. 'Cause no sense in staying inside if the weather's fine. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. So we're back out in Colorado. It's June and the weather's perfect. There's a lot of maintenance that needs to get done. Some of the pipes were busted over the winter, even though I thought I winterized. I drained all the pipes. But, you know, at 3 feet of snow, it gets pretty cold and the pipes are brittle. I may have to switch out to PEX pipe rather than the traditional PVC. Last year I did it real quick just to get by, but I need to probably upgrade it to PEX. The other thing is the water heater in the RVs. Apparently I forgot to drain those, so the storage busted, or the piping inside the tankless one busted, and the tank in that one's busted, so I got to change those out. Piper, what are you doing? Anyhow, thought I'd start a series of doing just living out in the wild, completely, fully off grid. Before we do that, I guess we can take a nice walk along the property and check out the creek that's running on both sides. I put a nice picnic table on top of my flatbed trailer when I'm not using it. So it's a great spot to have your lunch. Here you go. That's more like it. You can actually fish here too. There's certain spots where it pulls up pretty nicely, and you can catch some rainbow trout. Oh, that water looks cold. Even though it's midsummer, it's pretty chilly. I guess you'll get used to it. You jumped in there and acclimate in a few minutes. But all the snow melts. There's still snow on the mountain. Comes down and runs along here and combines into the big Hinson River or creek and goes into town. But yeah, I mean, the creek is right there. So I've been learning a lot about living off grid. It had a manual well pump in place, and I installed the oop. Yeah, so this is the view. Still gorgeous. So I was saying, the property came with a septic tank system. Interestingly enough, he didn't bury the septic completely underground. He purposely left 20% of it above ground so that he could just drop outhouse on top of the opening of the septic tank. I've never seen that before, but so last year I used my tractor, and I actually, because the septic tank is raised, it's, you know, above ground, then the entry point, it's actually pretty high, meaning that all these RV dumps that I put and had to be at least a little higher so that I could drain straight into the septic tank. So that's why these RV ports are so high in the on the ground. So what I use is a masticating 12-volt pump that I then pump the black water into the black, through the black hose, and essentially pumping it uphill 2 feet, you know, into, and it's worked well. So I can't gravity feed the gray and black water, so I have to pump it uphill a bit. Then I've got my water lines to the RVs. So I've got a couple of projects this summer. This scary building here is my favorite spot. It's called the outhouse, and I made a makeshift shower, but the water's pretty cold, so I'm going to install a external tankless water heater that's heated the water with propane. I've got a big propane tank, so I'll put it here. So I'm going to build a frame for a shower stall and use the aluminum siding. And it's not a 5-star hotel, but it does the job, you know. So we'll build the frame around the cement foundation high up with the door and the propane and septic tank, so it'll be a nice hot shower outside. That's the first project for this summer. And then Kelly managed to get someone from Facebook or next door to donate some lumber, some wood planks and flooring. So I'm actually going to redo the inside of this outhouse. I took Alex's advice. I'm actually going to put a full toilet system in here, or full tank toilet, but you know, with the pre-flush and the full flush, so I could conserve on water. But now that I'm piped the water in here, there's no reason why I couldn't use a full residential toilet. Yeah, so it's not the scariest outhouse I've been into. Do you want to use it? Here, come on, you got a poo-poo? All right, so here's another RV spot. So I put three spots, so my friends come to visit, they can park here and have the view of that side of the mountain. Plumbing, water. So we got plumbing, we got water. Speaking about water, so there's an existing well here, 20 feet deep. So it dried up. I actually tried to pump water out of it one time, and it lasted for about 50 gallons, and then it dried up. So it might have filled up again, but it's not dependable. So the previous owner put another well that's about 50 feet right here. And so last year I put two, I think 88 gallon in cereal. And then what I would do for now, since I don't have full electricity, is I would just run the generator and then run the pump, the 240 pump right here, control box, and it would pump the water from the well through this tank into that tank. The reason I've got two tanks is last year I tried to get the biggest tank they had, like 110, and they were back ordered, so I had to find a way to try to increase the capacity. So I had this idea that I would run two tanks, and I wasn't sure if I had to run in serial in parallel, and it's sort of just a try and error for me. So I've got it in serial right now, so it pumps into this tank, and this tank then pumps into that tank. And even though it's an 86 gallon tank, I think. It only holds 30% of that, so you're looking at 30 gallons. So when I pump up to about 80 psi on the right, I get about 65 on the left. So I get about 60 gallons each time, and I'll just pump, I'll fill up the water tank in the RV and then pump another 60 gallons here so that I can then use the water hose for different things outside. So Barry from out in Yosemite area, my buddy managed to give me this pontoon boat that was abandoned by one of his neighbors, and I power washed it, cleaned it up, then I cleaned the carb and changed all the fluids in the engine, little Mercury 25, and it's been running nice ever since. So I brought it here to Colorado so that we'll take it out to the lake this summer. Anyhow, let's see. So that I showed you the slow creek. Now we're gonna walk over to the fast creek. This was the creek I was pulling water from when I first moved into barrels before I figured out how to do the electrical pump, the well pump. Because I tried to pump manually into a 55-gallon tank, and after doing one 55-gallon, you can't do a second one. It takes forever to manually pump it. So I put a picnic table out here where the fast creek is. And what's neat is I put mesh Wi-Fi system out here, and I actually get about 30-40 MIPS here by the creek, so I actually can work out here. Doing my meetings, I can sit out here and listen to the water. Yeah, you can actually put a tube or a kayak and just ride all the way in town for a beer and a bite, and then hitchhike back to the place. So that's cool. Anyway, yep, so that's the fast creek on the left side. One thing's for sure, we won't ever run out of water. Okay, so we got water, we got septic. What else do we need? Oh, obviously internet, so that's Starlink. Starlink here in the valley gets me between 100 to 200 MIPS. So that is more than enough to work remote and stream your movies. Piper, come back here, boy. So the last big project I have outside of the outhouse and the shower renovation right now is finally installing the solar panel that I wanted to put up. I haven't decided how to mount the panels yet, because I think I can get more panels on the top of this roof if I mounted them slanted with the rack system. But I've got another 10 coming. These are 370 watt panels. They're going for about $100 out of Signature Solar out in Sulphur Spring, Texas. So I'm gonna have, for now, 18. I'm gonna take those off and put 6 more there. So I've got 18 here, and then I've got a spare 4 to 6 more I need to find another place to put. I was hoping to get about 24 panels, and that'll give me almost 10,000 watts, and that should be more than enough. Man, this is probably enough already, the 18 panels. And I'm gonna just repurpose those for
It's your chance to wake up and plan another brand new day.